Hey yo, ADR, this is King Black coming at you from the outside again. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Hopefully, y'all there for your kids. Today, I wanted to reflect upon, Father's Day and the purpose of why I be trying to talk to people within my own organization as well as those in others that they shouldn't be out there living reckless in order to represent who they are. In my mind, being a Land King doesn't mean running kilos or standing out in the corner looking for trouble. To me, being a Land King is more of a philosophy, a mindset, a lifestyle, one that involves showing mutual respect to others unless they show that they are unworthy of your respect. Then it's time to handle things a little bit different. This Father's Day, there's a lot of people passing it behind bars or in the grave. And it's sad, man, because now you either have these kids growing up without a father or growing up with a bad role model, man, seeing person after person come into their lives because now their moms is trying to find love again. And they get exposed to a whole bunch of different personality types and some good, some bad, some abusive, and as many of y'all might think, oh, that will never happen to me. My girl will stay down for me, will stay loyal for me. Okay, you can think that all that you want. But knowing how I used to act when I was 18, 19, and 20, these single moms, man, they're not out here being celibate. If you're spending time in jail, you ain't gonna do nothing behind bars. You ain't even gonna know what's going on. You definitely are not gonna know what's going on if you find yourself 6 feet underground. It won't even matter to you at that point. So this Father's Day, for those of y'all who are able to hear this message and who are fathers or who are about to be fathers, enjoy your kids, man. Give them a big hug, give them a big kiss. Let them know that you're there for them. Because not everybody has that. Reach out to some of these non-profit organizations. Donate what you can. Take the time to give back to your community. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this lifestyle that we live in, everybody wants to glorify this stuff in rap videos and make it look like it's all fun all the time, like if they're invincible. When people be forgetting, man, bullets travel faster than what the eye can see, and one day you can be here and the next you're not. You got people out here willing to take your life and you wouldn't even know it. You're just out here grocery shopping. You're out here trying to buy a new pair of jeans, and someone's out here measuring you up, waiting for you to come out the store, and after that it's a wrap. Which is another big reason why a lot of YouTubers like me, man, just rather not show our face. Not because we're doing anything wrong, but because you got a lot of dumb people out here trying to live for that Instagram clout, who they think that they can prove they're bad just by taking somebody else's life. The goal isn't about how many lives can you take, it's about how many lives can you save. This life is short enough, especially with this coronavirus situation that we're living in. I read an article the other day of a 16-year-old kid that was pretty much healthy, almost never went out. Yeah, he was the one to catch that corona, and like 7 days later, man, he was gone. So if it can happen to a 16-year-old, and it can happen to a 65-year-old, you can best believe it can happen to you. Now, I don't fit the typical profile of what people consider a gangster is by the media, because I'm not out here trying to instigate. I'm not out there looking to get into gunfights. I'm not out there moving kilos, like I said before. None of that shit interests me. What interests me is being able to be a Land King for multiple decades and still say I'm the one that made it, because I live by the philosophies that this organization was founded upon. And a lot of organizations have similar philosophies, but what happens is the leadership has been hijacked with those with a criminal mentality, and they lead the youth that are coming in who don't know no better down a darker path. And before these kids know it, they get slapped with the charge doing 10, 15, 20 years of life. They end up taking somebody's life who they didn't even know. They were just told, hey, go here, do this, report back. And although I don't condone doing dirt, that's a big reason why I said if you are going to do dirt, you got to do it by yourself. Because anybody else who knows what you're about to do, that's a liability, that's a witness. All it takes is for them to get picked up on something worse or something just as bad for them to give you up so they can save their skin. You know, everybody's about loyalty to a point until it becomes a question of survival. Nobody wants to self-sacrifice when they don't have to unnecessarily. It takes a very special type of person to do that. You know, if you think that the person sitting next to you or who you interact with on a daily basis is willing to sit out 30 years in prison when they're offered 5 if they give up information about anything else that they know, do you honestly think that they're not going to take it? They'll be the first one to volunteer that information. Even if that deal isn't made, they're going to say, what if I did have information about XYZ? What can you do for me then? Then they got that dialogue started. And then next thing you know, you get picked up. And then next thing you know, at your court hearing, you're going to see who snitched on you. By then, it's too late. They got you. So my goal is, like I've always said, man, make sure everybody's out so they can enjoy them cliche summertime barbecues with their family and friends, man, with the community. That's the goal, man. It's not to satisfy the quota of the government by filling in as much prison cells as possible. You know, you got to be out here. If you're really about that life and you want to call yourself a gangster, man, the true gangsters are the ones who make it. The ones who can say that they survived the wars, who they can say has survived all the bull and have not spent time in jail, man. Spend time in prison. Because even if you go in for a short bid, all that is a potential for you to stay in there for life. Because you go in there for a short time, then you get told to do something that's going to add on 5, 10, 15, or life in jail to you. That's just what that kind of lifestyle leads at that point. So there's something called maturity, right? That can't be taught. It's got to be earned through life experience, time. You know, it ain't that easy to be out here and be the bigger person. It's much easier to react on emotion, right? That person disrespect me, blah blah blah. So you want to prove a point. Now sometimes that might be the way to go in very specific circumstances. But there are many times where it ain't worth it. At the end of the day, it's really up to you if you just listen to my words or if you hear them. I'm coming at this from the perspective that coming up on 15 years, I've never seen the inside of a cell. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been in a lot of situations where I could have gone down that path, where had I associated with negative people, I could have been one of those, but then what do I get? You know, trying to impress people is the biggest downfall of many of us. Because you want to prove that you're hard, you want to prove that you're not to be messed with. All of that should emanate from your demeanor, how you carry yourself. Carry yourself with pride, straighten your back up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be out here being the alpha, but at the same time, not instigating. It's best believe there are people out here just looking for a reason to jump off. And that's not the way to live life, man, because eventually you're gonna meet the one that's gonna catch you off guard. Some of the smarter ones are quiet. You won't even know that you are their target until it's too late. By then, you ain't even gonna know because your eyes are gonna close and you're gonna be gone. If you want to see a good example of how listening to others can get you in trouble, just look at Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? He meets the criteria. What I mean, self-preservation. He snitched on everything and everybody that he could. Reduce his sentence. Where is he at? He's about to come off of house arrest, right? So he got the last laugh for now. Because now he's got this big target on his back. For everybody that wants to prove something or everybody who wants to, act hard and prove a point. So whoever does, and I'm not advocating this shit at all, I'm just saying from what's going on social media, whoever thinks they're going to take them out, I'm going to be throwing their lives away because for what? They're going to be the ones to take them out, okay. But now they're spending their whole life in jail, so how are they going to enjoy that clout? You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be free. They're not going to be able to enjoy walking outside whenever they want. Experiencing life, having kids. They won't know anything what goes on, and eventually with time, whether that takes 5, 10, 15 years, man, they fade away. Their name means nothing. Because by then, at that point, another Tekashi is going to spring up. Another person is going to take their place. And then the focus and attention is going to shift. And it ain't the same. So it's really You gotta be smart about this shit. This Father's Day makes me reflect on a lot. Had I gone down a certain path, probably wouldn't have had my kids. I probably wouldn't be the testament to prove that there's another way, there's another path to live this life and still have guns and still do this and do that, but all of it's legal. All of it's on the up and up, you know what I'm saying? Even now, all those people that got locked up for like marijuana 15, 20 years ago, look at how the world shifts, man. Now you got all these pop-ups and all this stuff, all these states making it legal. So these people at that time threw away their life for what? Had they bided their time, had they, even if it would have been rough, gone a different path, right now they could be owning their own dispensary. Right now they can be out here, you know, living their own success story. But nah, a lot of people get taken out early in life before they reach their full potential, man. How many people get taken out that could have actually contributed something to society or stopped dozens of kids like them to follow in their footsteps? Like I said before, a lot of times when we hear about these leaders and stuff being reformed, it's after they've already been caught and after they've already spent 5, 10, 15 years looking at four walls. And it's sad that it has had to come down to that, because now the point of the message is the same as mine, but it necessarily doesn't make it as potent or more potent than mine, because they had to fall before they rose, whereas I haven't fallen because I haven't fallen into the traps that they were led into. And I get it, man. Sometimes it's all about where you were raised. Like I said many times before, I'm a bloodline Lion King. I'm not a Chicago Lion King. Over there, lifestyle's a lot different. Over there, you got no choice but to fight. You can't go down 2 or 3 streets because that belongs to another gang, another, Spanish Cobras, Imperial Gangsters, whatever the case is. You're surrounded by enemies. So I get that part. Everybody's situation is different. Like I mentioned before, I have lost things because of my affiliation, but not to the point that you've seen like in gangland. I have lost friends, I have lost other things. The trick to this, man, is you gotta pick that right path and stick to it no matter what. You gotta create your own legacy, your own reputation of hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil. I remove myself from the situation before things get started if people are thinking about going that path. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us are grown adults, man. And who am I to tell another grown adult what to do? I can only give them the option. You can listen to me or not. But the one thing I do make sure to do is to remove myself. Because if something goes down and they get caught, last thing I want is for them to think I said something, because how could I? I was already out of the situation before they even talked about whatever they were going to do. And that's how you survive, man. And those that follow my leadership, I try to make sure I keep them out of jail too. Am I always successful at it? Nope. Because I'm dealing with people with a different mindset. My values, my mindset, the way I interpret the constitution of my organization may be different than how others view it. You know, I'm not I'm not out here trying to save everybody's life because I got my own problems, which is why I just put my words out there. Because that's how you get caught up in some nonsense. You out here trying to save somebody's life, they don't appreciate it, they backstab you, man. And I've seen it play out. So I'm very careful who I associate with and who I discuss things with. Well, you gotta keep your head up, man. Stay out of trouble. You know, like I said, life is temporary, life is short. You know, you could get hit by a drunk driver driving tomorrow. And in life, man, all it takes is 1 second to make an error, to make a mistake that you can't take back. And once you do that, I feel sorry for you, man. So all it is a matter of time. You know, I reflect on my days as a Latin King, right? And a lot of the hardships I have faced personally never came from within the organization, but it has always come from outside. When I was in school, came from school officials. When I was at home, came from my parents who didn't understand. We gotta know that there's always a time and a place for people to know who you are. You can be proud of who you are, but that doesn't mean you're gonna climb up to the nearest rooftop and scream that shit out. You shouldn't be afraid of who you are. But you gotta know in this society, you know, perception is a big thing. So if you're out here and you got a legitimate job, you know, that ain't the place to be constantly talking about what you are. You know, you're there to do a job, you're employed to do a job, you keep your mouth shut. Then outside of work, just make sure whatever you do outside of work doesn't interfere with your work. Because, man, people draw their own conclusions, man. So this Father's Day, if you're not necessarily a father, but you have one that's still around, or you know where they are, you know, just reach out and just say Happy Father's Day. I know not everybody has had a happy-go-lucky childhood, but at the end of the day, you're here on this earth not because your mom had immaculate conception, but because you had a father. He might not still be around, but he contributed to giving you